This is the Beartooth Mountains, and we're hiking to our last lake, I think, of the trip. If you've ever wondered if you should come to Montana, I think this is probably a good reason to encourage you to do so. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Dan. Thanks for being here. So today we're talking about Big Agnes tents. You know, should you buy a Big Agnes tent? If you did buy a Big Agnes tent, maybe which one should you buy? Are they any good? So we're gonna answer some of those questions today. Let me just walk you around camp real quick. I'll kind of give you sort of just a look at where we're at and where we're set up. All right, this is the second time I shot this video. First time, something went wrong with my mic and there was no audio. So you're gonna see shots from our campsite from this morning that we left. So just know it's gonna look a little bit different. Some of the B-roll, the overlay shots of the tents and stuff. Okay, so Big Agnes does a really good job of making tents for literally every person out there. Whether you're just like a casual camper, whether you are a thru hiker, if you're a mountaineer, they've got tents for everything. So I've got 4 tents here. They're all Big Agnes tents. 3 of them are mine. So I borrowed them out to a couple guys. One of them is not mine, but I actually do have this tent in a different version. So this one here is the Big Agnes Copper Spur tent. This one just happens to be the Mountain Glow version. This is a amazing tent for the person who just loves a lot of luxury. It's a little bit heavier of a tent than some of the other ones I'm gonna show you. But it's got tons of storage, tons of space. It's just like, it's got built-in lighting. So this is just like the tent for the guy who wants to come out here and feels like he's sort of like staying in a hotel. It's just a really nice tent. And it also has like the vestibule will actually, this vestibule here will actually open up and you can use trekking poles to stand it up into an awning. How cool is that? So you can actually eat, not just like a regular vestibule, but like have room to like spread out if it's raining. So, or maybe like if you want to see some epic view and the weather's, you know, kind of strange like it has been for us. And there's an awning actually on both sides of the tent. Each tent here is a 2-person tent. And when I say 2-person, I just mean like a glorified 1-person tent, because if you cram two people in a 2-person tent, it actually is really cramped. Okay, so let's go to now, well, let's check out my tent here. So this tent that I brought for this trip, I was gonna bring a Nemo tent, the Nemo Hornet Elite, but at the last second I changed my mind because I was bringing so much gear. This tent actually dropped a full pound out of my pack. So I've got the Big Agnes Scout 2 Carbon tent. From what I can tell, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty certain that this is the lightest weight 2-person tent that you can possibly buy. Now, the drawback is that it's a single wall tent and it does not have a vestibule at all. And it's really more of a glorified 1-person tent. So there's not a ton of room for 2 people in there. You can cram 2 people in there, maybe like a parent and a kid, but that's about it. Also, the Dyneema, this is a Dyneema tent, is extremely thin and extremely delicate on this tent. Now, I've been using the tent for, I don't know, about a year, maybe more, on and off. I've got several nights in it, and I've even poked a hole in it twice. Okay, real quick, let me interject here. I get a lot of questions on how I get shots like I just showed you inside of that tent. It's with a certain camera called the Insta360 1X2. But anyway, you can get really cool shots like this. It has 5.7K video resolution, super awesome audio recording. Yeah, I was trying to get some shots of the poison ivy all around me, but so I'm kind of hoping we walk through a whole bunch more. Very long battery life that's been increased up to 55% from the previous version. This thing is waterproof up to 10 meters without a case, so you can literally scuba dive with it. And because it's a 360 camera, you don't even have to think about which direction you're pointing it in. You just point it out in front of you and it points in every direction ever. It's almost like having a FPV drone, like a drone that flies and follows you, or a personal cameraman on every trip you go on. This thing could easily replace your action camera, your phone, anything else that you're bringing, and you could literally use it as your only camera if you wanted to. Insta360 actually sent me this camera and asked me if I would put it in a video, and I loved it so much for the past several trips I've been on that I was like, yes, absolutely. Because I think it's a huge resource for you guys, because you could spend $500 and be done with all of your camera gear for any trip that you're going on. I'll put a link in the description below for where you can get this camera yourself. Oh, and I just checked, it looks like you can get the Insta360 One X2 right now as of the filming of this video for 20% off on their website. It's a great tent. It's extremely easy to set up. I can set up this tent in probably 2 minutes. And it's nice to set up in the rain because the trekking poles lift it up, and when that top roof gets lifted up, lifts up real nice, and there's no like net tent portion that you're putting up first. Very, very easy to set up in the rain. So you go from luxury, super luxury, to super minimalistic, both by Big Agnes, both great tents. Now let's go to sort of what I think is probably the sweet spot for Big Agnes. And if you're looking like, man, I'd like to have sort of that luxury, but I'd also like to save some weight. I don't want to have to carry a ton of stuff. Let me show you real quick this next tent. All right, this next tent, I've actually got it in 2 versions. It's the Tiger Wall UL 2-person tent. That's this one. And then I have the Tiger Wall UL, I think it is, Platinum tent, and that's this version. Now, the difference between these 2 tents is really just the material. Now, this is the older version of the Tiger Wall. They've got a newer version out. Nothing's changed other than the material. It's just made out of renewable materials, which is nice, recycled stuff. This one is literally the exact same tent, no difference whatsoever. Other than this one is made out of a lighter weight nylon, which brings the weight down. I'm not gonna promise you I'm gonna get this right, so I'll make sure I put all this on the screen, but I think it's probably about 4 to 6 ounces less, which is nice. But you're also gonna spend $150 more on this tent than you would this tent. So if you're looking for like a sweet spot tent, I would go with certainly one of these options. If you're looking to save a little money, just get this tent. It's perfectly fine. It's still extremely lightweight at about 2.5 pounds, so it's really awesome. Oh, also, if you've caught it, yes, I did bring a tarp here in the middle. This is pretty cool. I bought this a few years ago when I was hammock camping. If you guys don't know, I was a monster hammock camper for about 2 or 3 years. That's all I did. I lived for hammock camping, but made the switch to tents. I'm a ground guy now. So this is the War Bonnet Mini Fly, I believe it is. And I just grabbed that at the last second because the weather was just insane here. Freezing rain, pouring rain, sun, wind, and this has been a lifesaver for us. On 2 occasions so far, we were able to just kind of hang out underneath it while it was pouring rain, so that was pretty cool. All right, guys, I hope you like this video. I hope it helps you out. I hope it answers some of those questions. Would I recommend Big Agnes? Absolutely, 100%. I'd have no problem with buying a Big Agnes tent ever. So, hope you guys like this video. Hit that like button, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys on the next one.